This is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Since 1966, your source for state and national agribusiness news, and features for farmers and consumers about Georgia's #1 industry, agriculture. The Georgia Farm Monitor is produced by the state's largest general farm organization, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now, here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
All right, come on in, make yourself at home. Excited to have you for another edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor. I'm Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. As always, we've got a ton of information to share with you today. Straight ahead on the Monitor, the land has been granted and prepared, so when exactly will Madison County begin construction on its long-awaited Ag Center?
Also on the program, 6 years after he broke onto the scene with his kudzu killing invention, the kudzu kid, Jacob Schindler, no longer a kid. How the UGA senior continues his quest of total kudzu domination.
And speaking of Athens, why recent graduates of UGA's ag program should have no problems whatsoever finding not only a job, but a good paying job. These stories and so much more starting right now on the Georgia Farm Monitor. Georgia Farm Bureau President Gerald Long has been very busy since January. Not only does he travel extensively with Farm Bureau, he's also still active on his family farm just outside of Bainbridge. Recently, the Monitor's Mark Wildman visited President Long at his U-Pick operation in Decatur County to get an update on his farm and his role as GFB president.
Georgia Farm Bureau President Gerald Long is right at home walking these fields just outside of Bainbridge in Decatur County. Long Farms is one of the largest U-Pick operations in the Southeast, and consumers drive for miles and miles to handpick some of the best produce around.
We're known as a Walmart of U-Pick vegetables. By having the different varieties of vegetables here, they know they can come here and get a variety of vegetables at a very reasonable price. They know it's a safe, healthy product that they're getting here locally grown.
This U-Pick operation is just part of a very diverse family farm the Longs operate that also includes beef cattle and traditional row crops. But these fields filled with fresh okra, beans, corn, and much more are what most people recognize when you mention Long Farms.
This year we will be a 100-year farming operation. My granddaddy started here, my father and myself, and now I have a son and he has a son. So now we have the 5th generation on this farm. And this is just something we developed 32 years ago as people in the community started asking us to grow something for them. We started that, and each year it continues to grow.
As Georgia Farm Bureau president, he has to spend a fair amount of time behind a desk meeting with people. But he feels all of his years running this business has prepared him well for the job.
I think one of the main things is dealing with the public. As this is a U-Pick operation, as we deal with different personalities every day, it has sort of taught me that, regardless of who you are, you need to feel wanted, you need to feel appreciative, that somebody appreciates your business, and that's what I stress to the help that works for me. The customer, as the old adage goes, is always right, but we need to treat them and respect them, and that, I think, has taught me some responsibilities there.
As the years go by and populations grow, farm organizations are going to become more important to make sure Georgia's farmers have a voice.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity. You know, I've been in Farm Bureau since 1970, and, I've told some people, I feel like I owe back to this organization just a small part of what this organization has done for me since 1970.
So in the future, President Long's mission is going to be to make sure Georgia Farm Bureau stays strong and Georgia agriculture, just like these fields, keeps growing.
It is a major challenge. I'm a farmer. I have no doubt God called me to farm. I love it every day. But I also think, as I stated earlier, I have a responsibility. I think any time that you're part of an organization, you need to be held responsible and be a part of it and be a leader.
Reporting from Decatur County, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. In other ag news, Georgia Governor Nathan Deal, part of a delegation who attended the recent grand opening of the Panama Canal's newly expanded locks. Thousands of onlookers cheering as a Chinese container ship became the first vessel to pass through the new locks. The project, taking nearly 10 years to complete with a price tag of $5.2 billion. The expansion, of course, resulting in the canal doubling its previous size, allowing a new generation of larger container ships to pass through. Governor Deal releasing a statement saying, in part, quotes, "The completion of the Panama Canal expansion is one of the largest and most important civil works projects in recent memory." He went on to say the close ties Georgia and Panama share have helped to make the Port of Savannah the success it is today. I congratulate the Panama Canal Authority on its success and look forward to the completion of our own harbor deepening project, end quote. Meantime, despite having the highest farm gate value in the state, Madison County is one of the few counties in the region to not have an agricultural education center.
However, as Damon Jones reports, that won't be the case in the near future.
Take a ride through Madison County and you're likely to see fields of livestock, stands of trees, and of course plenty of chicken houses, which help support the more than $520 million worth of agricultural production. It's the reason why having an agricultural education center in the area is so important.
Because there's such a crying need to have a facility to host events, to have a facility where our students have hands-on learning. And it's not just the facility. Yes, we need to raise funds for the building, but it's the whole concept of the property here, that our project is going to allow hands-on learning of youth and adults in our region so that we become better at what we do.
While agriculture is the driving force behind such a project, it's something that will help the entire community.
Over the years, we came to the understanding that we needed more than just an ag facility, that we wanted something that would serve our community, that be hands-on for science teachers, for ag teachers, and came up with the concept that we have of an educational facility, a show barn and show ring, and an equine facility.
And so far, the community has really come together to provide both financially and physically, as work is already underway on the site as a parking lot has been paved and the land already graded. It's the latest example of the area really pulling together.
It has been tremendous. In addition to the purchase of the property, the engineering of the whole complex, grading was a mammoth project. The clearing, the site preparation, the drainage installation. All of that has been done without debt. It's all been done with community contributions, both cash and in-kind contributions. They cannot say enough good about the support of this community.
One of the big victories for this project was being able to purchase the land they always had their eyes on, right next to the high school.
That's the key. We want kids to be able to walk over here. With our current scheduling, if you have to load a bus and go to a facility and then load that bus and go back, you have expense involved, you have time constraints. It is tremendous to be able to walk across the road, spend our class period here doing hands-on learning, and then send them back on to their next class.
With all this work being privately funded, just how quickly this project is expected to be completed will depend solely on contributions from citizens and businesses from the county and surrounding areas. And donating is just a simple phone call or a couple of mouse clicks away.
Just get in touch with us. Our Madison County Farm Bureau office is sort of the headquarters for our communication, but any of our board of directors can be contacted. We actually have a website that you can go to, GoFundMe. You can go to that website and you make contributions through that. We'd be happy to talk to anybody and everybody that's interested. We'd love for all ag industries that might be interested in partnering with us. We'd love to talk with them and see where you can contribute here.
Reporting from Madison County, I'm Damon Jones for the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Damon, thank you very much. When the Monitor continues, his kudzu killing invention gave hope to many. But before you think about destroying the noxious weed, listen to what Jacob Schindler has to say about its many positive uses. That's next when the Georgia Farm Monitor continues.
My name is Morgan Hart and I'm from Decatur County, which is Moultrie, Georgia. I got involved in agriculture in the 9th grade. My dad was a former state FFA officer, but what's unique about me is my dad made it my choice. He allowed me to choose to be an FFA member and to be involved in agriculture. And I got involved with 9th grade because Decatur County is one of the largest ag-producing counties in the state, and so I felt like I needed to understand and learn more about what we do in my county specifically, and I just fell in love with agriculture and FFA, and it's just become a passion of mine, and I love being involved with it. Beyond FFA, my future, I'm going to be a freshman this next school year at ABAC. I plan to eventually get to the University of Georgia and graduate, and hopefully have a degree in either ag communications or ag marketing. I would love to do something also in politics like Mr. Sam Watson, our local representative. I would love to do something like he does, maybe even have his representative seat. Maybe if he moves up on the political ladder, that'd be really neat. So just staying involved in agriculture and keeping in touch with things like that.
To learn more about the National FFA organization, log on to ffa.org.
I'm Brent Dubois. I started Warriors Harvest here in the Twiggs-Bleckley, 4-county area about 2 years ago. We sell produce that we grow here locally, tomatoes, zucchini, squash, sweet corn, field corn, watermelons, blueberries, strawberries. We also sell eggs, honey, and jams, jellies. Through agriculture, we're mentoring young men and women about personal accountability through agriculture to their God, their community, the livestock, and the fruits and vegetables we grow. Nowadays, the way society is, that personal accountability is no longer there. Growing up on a farm, I feel like that's where you learn to be accountable, and also gives you the opportunity to give back to the community. I grew up here in Twiggs County. Been on this farm. My kids will be the 4th generation. We did cattle and row cropping, and I spent the first half of my life getting away from it, hating it, and when I was in the Army, I wanted to get back to it. There's nothing like manual labor to relax your mind with the stressors of the day. You know, my business life is incredibly stressful, and I find no more joy in working out on the farm to get those endorphins pumping, and there's nothing as rewarding as hard work. Typically on Tuesdays and Thursdays we'll have the church softball out here as a local league, and we really enjoy that. It's a lot of good Christian fellowship, competition. We always have a 4th of July fireworks show, and that's getting to be a bigger deal where we just hang out, eat watermelon, and watch the fireworks. The goal for me is hopefully to one day have a retreat for veterans who can come out and work on the farm and just find peace through Christian fellowship, and not have to worry about what's going on, looking at their phone every couple minutes, and finding some peace and solace in the work that they do.
In 2010, the Monitor brought you the story of Jacob Schindler, a 16-year-old Lowndes County high school student who discovered an effective way to kill kudzu using helium. Well, needless to say, his story is one of the most viewed features on our YouTube page with over 26,000 hits, and we still get calls all the time from people wondering about his current status. Well, nowadays, the 22-year-old Schindler is a 5th-year senior at UGA, majoring in landscape architecture. And yes, he is still fighting kudzu, and his helium invention now has some serious credibility. As the city of Athens continues to grow and reach new heights, so too does the invader often called the vine that ate the South. And while the majority of us see this patch of kudzu as a potential problem, Jacob Schindler sees it as just plain potential.
Whether it be proper land use, which right now is questionable, or later on properly using it for either forage material, biomass, the opportunities are there. All someone needs to do is start utilizing it.
A bit deep and scientific, yes, but understand this. Jacob was only 11 years old when he first discovered that helium could eradicate kudzu without harming other vegetation around it. A simple middle school project that would change his life forever.
So I went back and did more FFA competitions, proficiencies, became the American Star in Agri-Science, and I also received a patent on my device in 2014. And now I'm looking to do manufacturing and distribution, so that's the next step from first production and prototyping to now getting it ready to go on the market. It was never really to kill and attack kudzu, but it's always been about controlling it. Now more than ever, you see this whole movement with the green scene, this kind of move to ecological balance and friendliness. It's about controlling kudzu. Once you can control it, then you can utilize it for its benefits, whether it be through ethanol usage, whether it be food production or medical. There are so many uses, and we just need to get it to a point where people can accept it, control it, and then start using it.
Believe it or not, it actually has some benefits. For instance, did you know it's quite nutritious? It makes for a really good salad. Not something I'm going to try anytime soon, but I'll take Jacob's word for it.
You could compare it to spinach or soybeans. It's a legume just like soybean. You can use it the roots to make cakes. You can use it to make teas, wines. I've made salsa out of it. It's a basic forage crop essentially. And of course people have baled it and used it as an alternative to hay. Really the big danger with kudzu is that it becomes a carrier for other pests such as the kudzu bug, which is destroying any kind of legume it can get in contact with. So really controlling kudzu is about finding an ecological balance, and then you can utilize it properly, whether it be for food, for fuel, or for just looking at.
And even though he's tackled a major hurdle in receiving a patent for his helium invention, Jacob says his mission to achieve total kudzu domination is far from over.
I need to get my EPA registration for the helium use as a pesticide. I need to register the device itself. I need to basically go through the process that any major company would have to go through for this type of technology, except I'm doing it as one person right now. So I need to find people who can help me do that. Just like from the beginning, when I was doing the experiments, it was about having other people who could help push me there, who could help give me the resources.
Very bright young man. Now, just a reminder, if you missed any part of the story or others on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel. That is the Georgia Farm Monitor. Once there, you can browse the archive of stories dating as far back as 2009.
And once you're done watching all those informative stories, keep clicking and like the Georgia Farm Monitor Facebook page that we've set up for you. If you have a story idea or if you want to leave us a comment or suggestion, feel free to send us a message either on Facebook or the address listed below. That is news@farm-monitor.com. When we come back, travel with us to UGA and hear why one professor said the job prospects for recent ag grads are the very best they've been in years. Stay tuned. You're watching the Georgia Farm Monitor.
In this area of southeast Texas, not far from the Gulf of Mexico, heat and humidity are the rule. And seventh-generation cattleman Chuck Kiker says the weather here means his herd has to be a little different.
You got to have a different kind of cattle, and you can look over my shoulder and see they're not the typical Angus herd that you see up north, but we need a little Brahma influence to them, and we cross them up and try to have something close to a quarter blood Brahma going to the feedlots.
Chuck has a skilled eye when it comes to his cattle, and after serving 2 terms as a member of the Cattlemen's Beef Board, he's also become skilled at working to see that beef checkoff dollars are spent in ways that will make a real impact on the value of beef.
And meat profiling and developing new products is one of the best things the beef checkoff has done to make the value of that carcass go up. We had so many cuts of meat that weren't high dollar cuts that would end up in grind, and it was very important to add value to those cuts, and that's one of the things the checkoff has been able to do. They started profiling specific muscles that would be tender, muscles that were lean, but had qualities that the consumer wanted.
Chuck says the flat iron steak and petite tender are 2 popular cuts that came as a direct result of producer checkoff dollars invested in muscle profiling research.
The biggest thing was at banquets through our food service industry and everything. They gave them an alternative to a high-priced steak dinner. They could go with a petite cut tender or a flat iron steak and have beef on the menu. And that was huge for the beef industry and put a lot of money back into the value of that carcass. And that's one of the things that I've learned as a cow-calf producer, being in the beef board, is you can't just focus on what that calf brings. You've got to know what that animal brings all the way down the line.
In addition to developing new cuts, the Checkoff-funded Beef Culinary Center works to create new recipes to draw consumers to beef meals more often.
We need beef to be king every day, not just on steak night, not just special occasions, and that's what the work of the Beef Checkoff has enabled us to do. make beef the center of the meal more often.
In Texas, I'm Brian Baxter reporting.
Well, finally today, UGA graduates in the class of 2016 are discovering that job prospects are the best they have been in a decade.
That's right. It includes majors in agriculture, too. Recently, we talked with one UGA professor and a recent grad to find out why ag jobs are so plentiful.
This year's graduates from the University of Georgia that hold degrees related to the ag industry have lots to celebrate. Not only did they make it to their commencement exercise successfully, their job prospects are at a 10-year high.
Partly because employers are positive and are looking to hire again, and also partly because we finally worked through the backlog of people who needed jobs that couldn't get them during those bad years. So for a while, new college grads were competing against people who'd been out for 3, 4, 5 years, and that was tough for them. But now those people have kind of cleared out of the way. They've got their jobs, and new college grads have their best shot at jobs in a long time.
Dr. Dorfman told me that students who hold degrees tied to agriculture are finding they're not only getting solid job offers, they include offers tied to good salaries.
They are. Wages are up the most this year in a long time as well. The average college grad today, I know for ag colleges, is getting an offer of around $50,000 a year or more just to start, which is tremendous. And these are in all types of ag. It's not just production ag, but about half the jobs looking for ag college graduates are for sort of business and management, and over a quarter are in STEM fields. They want scientists. They need those food scientists. They need plant breeders. They need people in the labs help us feed the world.
One agricultural student from the University of Georgia, Cole Roper in Franklin County, has decided to stay on the family farm to work.
Majored in animal science and wanted to get a degree in animal science production and management. And I went there for 3 years and got my degree there from UGA, and always wanted to come back to the farm and raise beef cattle and broilers.
Roper was recently recognized as Outstanding Senior Animal Science Major at UGA. He said he thinks more and more students are now realizing there is an opportunity in securing a viable lifestyle through agricultural degrees.
Well, there's tons of opportunities for kids that get a college degree in any type of agriculture, whether it's ag business or animal science. Students are really sought after from UGA with a degree in agriculture. Most of the kids that are coming out of there are guaranteed a job and already have job offerings. And I actually did my internship with our poultry company that we grow for and had several job offerings before I even got out of school.
Roper also attributes his early connection to Georgia's FFA program as a great start to his success.
I started out in the 6th grade in middle school in FFA and started out livestock judging and got to high school, and I had one of the best ag teachers in the state, Mr. Gary Minyard. He really pushed me to be the best that I could be in all I did, and I ended up being the state star farmer.
The National Association of Colleges and Employers recently announced that hiring is up 5% for current college graduates. Dorfman said there are 2 things that are helping this year's grads.
I think businesses feel fairly comfortable with the environment we're in now, and I think just more and more jobs out there in the job market require college degrees. They're looking for those college grads. They're looking for people with good learning skills, thinking skills, the ability to adapt and adjust to new situations, and so college grads are going to benefit.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Just a reminder, for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm, be sure to check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and the Farm Monitor Show.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on the Georgia Farm Monitor.
Have a great week.